Right, okay, Leader, what is your ugly point?
My ugly point would be how disappointing MKoi has been, honestly. I expected more of them, like especially like how their mid jungle support are functioning. I don't think they're functioning well together at all. How they're doing the plays. I feel like mid lane is very, very disconnected from every single play as well. I don't know what's going on there. Uh, I mean, and then that's more or less it. I would say like I expected more. I wanted them to actually be the third best team in the league. I actually like Jojo Pyun. Like I like his personality. I don't know how good he is because the last time I played against him was when I was in NA and I had
Right.
two scrim blocks against him, and he was like he had good qualities for NA player. I think like he had good qualities and he was actually willing to do stuff. And I like players that are actually willing to do stuff. So I was like excited to watch him play, but it was just it was not what I expected. Let's just put it that way. Like especially in LEC, I think it's the weakest it's ever been. I feel like Matt Coy with Elioya and Alvaro that has actually been performing really really well throughout the years. Like he's actually my biggest surprise for the last 2 years. Apart from Targamas, like I just want to touch on Targamas really quickly. I hated playing with Targamas in solo queue. I hated watching playing like seeing Targamas play as well. But this split, like he's been playing really really well, and it's very surprising. So I'm like happy for him. But when you have Alvaro that is playing good, and you have Elioya that is actually very active on the map and plays fearless, I would expect more that mid lane is more connected to the plays, and the team would just be much more active and actually like be more explosive than what they are and win more games and like have a little bit more of a competitive fight against Koi, which they didn't last time. It was not competitive at all. It was just a one-sided murder.
So for me, the okay, the KC series. So this fits into a little bit about the KC scouting. So I've watched more games of JoJo than probably anyone in the world. And what I would say is, and I haven't mentioned this before now because I just assumed other people weren't seeing properly what I was seeing. But now that KC clearly understand and we're clearly able to destroy, I can go into this in more detail. So the reason JoJo was bad on Cloud9 and the reason why he's been rough on KC is he's not really good at using, or he hasn't over the last 2 years been very good at using jungle and support resources into his lane. You can go and look at the second KC game. There's a period on 13 minutes to 16 minutes where enemy jungle comes bot, they make a play, then they get a kill. Jojo then opens bot to pick up the wave, and his support jungle play into his lane, and he gets nothing off it. They don't push the advantage. They're not able to get anything because KC are ahead in the game. And then it's enemy jungle support's turn to go, and his jungle support walk to the top side of the map, and he goes and tries to defend his tier 1 tower and dies underneath his tier 1 tower when it's not his turn to make an aggressive play. So they didn't use the resources, and then when the resources moved away, he continues to play as if he has resources. And this is like his laning phase is good, his team fighting is good, but this is something that on Cloud9 especially, over and over again, he would die in the side lane, and it wasn't because he had no jungle proximity or no support proximity. It's that his support and jungle would go into his lane and they wouldn't get any advantage. When they got advantage, it was fine. When they didn't get advantage, it was really, really bad because he wouldn't play passively. And the reason this matters is, I think last week I talked about Koi being really fragile when Alvaro doesn't have a lead. And when Alvaro has the lead, it's really, really easy to play into Jojo's lane. Every single time Alvaro and Aluria play into his lane, Super's fogging from mid, they always get an advantage when they commit resources into Jojo's lane, and therefore the game becomes super easy to play. The difficulty is when they're behind and they commit resources and they don't get anything. And that's, I don't know if it's impatience, I don't know whether it's synergy, I don't know whether it's a JoJo issue, I don't know whether it's a team issue, but for whatever reason, this has been a problem, and KC just exploited him like mega mega hard in this game, but also in the best of one in the regular season when he was on Ari. Sure, you talk about DPI or things like this, but the reason he's behind is because he's getting fucked on the sideline by enemy jungle support, right? And this is Koi need to fix this, right? Or they're just not going. They're done, right? It's not that much time. You've got 3 weeks so far, so 4 weeks. So okay, fine. They've had 4 weeks in a bit of a boot camp. You've got away with things. I guess this team is a team that wins a decent amount of scrims because of how they play the game. But now other teams have shown they know how to exploit you. So how are you going to respond, right? And this is a bit on KC for being the first team to really punish Jojo in this way. It's a bit also on Koi for not finding the solution, right? But sometimes you need to get fucked to be able to fix your problems.
I think this comes from not being able to know, like, defensive plays. I think it looks like they're struggling with how you presented it. Like, if Jojo is catching a wave alone on side lane as Aurora, for example, and enemy jungle support can be there, I think it can be a team issue as well, because I'm looking at the first draft right now, and they had Aurora and they had the Cassandra top lane. And I don't know if the Cassandra was top lane at this point or like the other side of the map. But if they're playing, if the support and jungle is trying to make a play into the Cassandra lane and like dropping the Aurora, I think it's a big team mistake. And it's on Jojo for actually not adapting to the situation and just dropping that wave in bot lane and playing defensively as well. But it's on the team. Like, either it's on Jojo for not calling they can dive me, or the support not realizing that he needs to be bot lane if enemy support jungle can be bot lane to defend the dive. So I think it just comes from, most likely from scrims. If they're winning a lot, it's very, very hard to say to get used to or like get into the groove of being on the defensive side, like on the back foot, on the side that you're supposed to win. And when you weak side the side that you want to have a strong side. And I mean, it just comes down from poor practice then.
Yeah,
in the
maybe.
end.
Possible.
I have to say, I definitely agree with the overall point. Like, one of the things I find so underwhelming is, first of all, this looked like the most plug-and-play fucking roster of the entire league, arguably. Like, you have the 4 players that already had the cohesion in the past year with literally the same coach, and then you took Jojo Pyun, who the whole profile's supposed to be, has super sick hands, good in lane, and then he needs the jungler just tell him what to do. You've got the fucking jungler who wants to tell everyone what to do. Like, this should have just been awesome. And for me, this is why it's so worrying. Like, this team should basically have walked in the league and been like, depending on whether G2 and Fnatic are good, maybe we're the best team. Maybe we're like second best team. Like, we should easily be top 3. If you look right now, like, look, people are going to be out on Fnatic because they lost to G2. Spoiler, watch everyone play G2. They're all going to get fucking clapped right now. So if I had to rank the teams right now, G2 was number 1. I don't know. Maybe I'll say Karmine Corp. They haven't played fucking G2, so I don't know. Karmine Corp and Fnatic could share second place. Bro, Koi's coming in after that at this point in time. Like, they're like 4th, and it would be like, they're clearly 4th at the moment. So, and by the way, they would have even had actually a 3-game series against BDS if the aforementioned insane throw just wasn't just gifted to them out of nowhere. So I think it's just fucking bonkers stuff, mate. Like, I actually can't believe that, sometimes they still just look disjointed. Also, I thought last year you put the blueprint down. You just get the bot lane ahead, then Super, who, by the way, is like the nuke of fucking ADC. You're not some cracked out ruler, fucking Jackie Love guy. But I tell you what, if you have a lead and you get ahead with your champion, yes, you can carry the game. Then Alvaro's unlocked at that point in time, and him and Elyoya can go on their fucking mystical journeys across the map doing whatever the fuck they do. Merwin, I don't even know. It's just some space killer in the top lane on some like fucking Darian from Moscow 5 shit, like la 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 la, so whatever. But that works sometimes, as Adam's shown us in the league. Like, sometimes solo queue bullshit does actually work. And then you'd think if Jojo just comes, and again, I actually want Jojo. Here's what you need to take a lesson from, mate. Take a lesson from what Alabrov's doing in G2. He walked in the door like, maybe I am the new Mickey X. Fuck, I'm shit in the bed. Actually, maybe let's go back within, let's paint within the lines for a while. Let's see how this shit works before we try and break the rules. Mate, you're just doing too much. Like, I don't think you need to. I think he's a really skilled player, mate, but I thought this was going to be a way sicker team. I thought if you just upgrade Frescovi for Jojo, this team should fucking murk games. They were winning loads of the mid games with Frescovi there. No one even rated as a player. Everyone was just dissing all the time. So I don't get what's bad about it, mate. It just fucking sucks for some reason. And then I'll just throw this out there. This is just a random detail I've realised now. In the same way as it doesn't matter what microphone technology you put in the room with Peter, he always sounds like he's just on like a really old mobile phone and he's just like, the signal's not quite good. You know, he's getting 2.5 bars. It's the same with his camera. Bro, if you don't know, guys, his camera isn't dirty. It's not that he hasn't cleaned it, right? No matter what lighting you put in there, it looks like I've got a Nintendo 64 and I couldn't afford the expansion pack. And when he moves away, like the fucking draw rate goes back, he go back in the fucking mist or something. So I can't do anything about that, guys. It's all good. Anyway, so actually that's almost as underwhelming as MKoi. There you go. I've tied it back in somehow. Who knows how?
Sorry, it's funny because I don't even have a gaming desk here, so I'm literally there's a stack of board games which is about like this high, which is balancing my laptop.
Right. So it's sat on top of Settlers of Catan right now. Okay, it's the most janky setup of all time. Fair enough.
Seven Wonders. Yeah. But I mean, basically, the reason why I go hard on Koi for this is that the formula for how to beat Koi has just been shown, right? Stop Alvaro playing in the first 10 minutes. Preferably get him behind. You're not always going to get him behind because they're going to call for jungle. But like, just stop him being able to do anything, and then just go to Jojo's lane between 10 and 20. 10 and 25, right? And then just stop him from being able to play. And what's his team going to do? And yeah, they have to do something. And let's be clear, I want Koi to win because obviously I want Jojo to win, right? But like right now, this team doesn't work properly, and he is part of that. And to me, it's from the outside, it looks like he's not calling the resources properly, or when he's getting resources, he's not using them properly when he gets them. But it could be team not listening to him. Who knows what it is, right? But there's something that's up here, and he is part of that. So I hope they fix it, because man, I want to see Koi win, because I put them number 1 on my tier list, and like I'm gonna look like a clown if they come fourth. So.
Sure. By the way, I'll even say it, like, obviously this is a joke. This is not any likeness to anyone real or with the same name in real life is purely coincidental. This is just a one-man play where I imagine a hypothetical set of people called Jojo and Elyoya and Niski, which is, mate, in theory, Jojo's been through the Inspired fires, mate, where absolutely he has super high expectations of what you should do and what you should be and all that. But I will say, people don't know. Inspired is just jokingly toxic publicly. I've actually heard he's a really cool teammate behind the scenes and sort of does take time out, put his arm around people and sort of bring them on. You know what? That hasn't worked so far, Elyoya. So I need you to channel. I need you, that thing where you'll get a dartboard in England, you put your enemy's face on it, so you throw darts at it. It's like a voodoo way to get out of your system. And every time this guy fucks up completely on a side wave or just instant again, I need you to just think of Niski, bro. That's why I need Elyoya. I need you to channel that feeling that you had when that fucking Belgian guy was in the mid and he kept fucking throwing every game. Give me some of that heat, because I tell you what, this guy, certain people, I don't know what backgrounds come from. Some people just respond to you. You need a little bit of friction, mate. You can't just be like, well, get him next time, mate. We'll get him next time. There's no next time. Fucking start winning now. This team's supposed to win today. Also, I'm just going to put this out there. This is the whole narrative of your career. You are the first proper NA star to come to the LEC, bro. We don't want this to be like, hey, it's a guy coming up from the ERL. Will he be okay? No, there's none of that shit. You're supposed to walk in a champion, someone who's been to Worlds a bunch of times, been an MVP of the LCS. By the way, right now, LCS MVP is you're devaluing that award, mate. At this point in time, that sounds like fucking LFL MVP. So I don't respect that right now. I need to see more. It's been hyped. I want it. By the way, I'm with you, Peter. The marquee angle's fucking sick if this team works out, especially if Jojo's really good. But right now, it's underwhelming. Come on. Just whack it.
I will have to agree with him.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.